Good evening, you're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The Sarawak government is taking over 1,700 kilometers of a logging route network, launching a phase 5 to 6 year upgrade to transform logging tracks into safe modern routes. Premier Dato' Peninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg announced that the initiative will completely overhaul rural connectivity, seamlessly linking remote communities directly to the state's main highways.
He says the takeover will streamline road maintenance, improving access for communities in the interior.
Jadi saya, Kerajaan Negeri, Kabinet Sarawak telah membuat keputusan. Kita Sarawak government take over all the logging road. Dan di KAPIT ada 1,700 km. Barang banyak lagi. Dan jalan ini terpaksa kita naik taraf berperingkat-peringkat dalam masa 5-6 tahun itu.
Speaking at the KAPIT SARAWAK Kusayang program in KAPIT earlier today, Abang Johari said the initiative will improve safety and accessibility to rural areas while boosting local economic activity through better connectivity.
Kedua, rakyat gunakan jalan bala free of charge. Tidak ada tol.
He adds that KAPIT residents will also enjoy easier access to logging roads as the taken over and upgraded routes will be open for free use without any charges or tolls.
The Sarawak government is drawing up a long-term plan to transform KAPIT into a modern, green and sustainable town as development grows and traffic congestion becomes more pronounced. Sarawak Premier Dato' Peninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the traffic congestion is a sign of development success, reflecting stronger population movement and economic activity in KAPIT.
According to him, the government is redesigning KAPIT's urban development structure to ensure more orderly growth.
I was dreaming, berharap dream tu jadi reality. Bahawa dia KAPIT will be something unique, eco-friendly, dan juga pedestrian friendly dan trafiknya tersusun dengan bangunannya pun bangunan restoran. Ini yang kita nak bangunkan di KAPIT untuk masa 5-6 tahun ini, tapi kita terpaksa menyesuaikan structure plan, master plan untuk menyesuaikan kepada tindak baru.
Sabah and Sarawak indigenous businesses must forge a distinct Bornean economic identity to compete globally. Third Deputy Chief Minister of Sabah, Dato' Ewan Benedict, says enterprises must transcend domestic boundaries and reduce their dependency on government contracts. Speaking at the launch of the Cultural and Business Exhibition held in conjunction with the 17th Join Gawai Keamatan celebration in Kuching, he highlighted logistics and connectivity issues as critical binding factors for Northern Sarawak and Sabah.
Kita memerlukan kerjasama yang lebih baik, terutama melibatkan konektiviti. Konektiviti melalui darat, konektiviti melalui laut, konektiviti melalui udara, dan juga isu-isu perundangan yang berkaitan dengan sempadan misalnya, kerana sebahagian besar produk ataupun bahan mentah termasuk bahan binaan di utara Sarawak ini juga perlu melalui Sabah, dan juga sebahagian besar bahan yang diperlukan di Sabah itu juga di bawah daripada Sarawak. Begitu juga dengan pemain-pemain industri, perkapalan, pengangkutan, logistik. Ini semua memerlukan kerjasama yang lebih baik, termasuklah juga bakalan utility.
Ewan, who is also Sabah's Industrial Development, Entrepreneur and Transportation Minister, emphasizes that seamless cross-border transportation remains vital for regional resource dependency. Ewan also revealed long-term plans to secure public listing standards for indigenous revenue chains. He says corridor chambers must evolve rapidly to establish a real corporate presence on the world stage.
Saya menghormati dan terinspirasi dengan kejayaan Dayak Chamber of Commerce sudah ke arah itu dan ada identiti ekonomik sendiri, tetapi saya percaya kita boleh buat lebih baik lagi. Contohnya, apakah ada syarikat-syarikat di bursa saham yang mempunyai penglibatan masyarakat Kadazan Dusun ataupun Dayak? Apakah kita sudah bertapak di pasaran dunia, contohnya membuka perusahaan di pasaran yang lebih besar di negara luar misalnya. Ini yang saya maksudkan identiti ekonomi.
He stated this at the launch of the Cultural and Business Exhibition held in conjunction with the 17th Join Gawai Keamatan celebration. The 2026 event showcases 82 entrepreneurs, with Sabah slated to host the next edition in 2027. The youth wing of Parti Pesaka Bumi Putra Bersatu PBB rebukes the Democratic Action Party's Socialist Youth (DAPSI) Sarawak for distorting facts surrounding the 1.8 billion ringgit Bintulu port takeover. PBB Youth Deputy Treasurer Afiq Fikri Ibrahim says this sum, mutually negotiated with the federal government, reflects Sarawak's robust financial standing and surpasses the 2026 state budget of DAP-led Penang. Afiq Fikri criticised DAPSI for undermining the state's autonomous efforts, unveiling a fiscal comparison to highlight Sarawak's liquidity over the opposition's financial standing. He adds that the historic novelty of the state handing a compensation cheque to the federal administration proves progress, dismissing recent rhetoric surrounding the region's constitutional claims. He reiterates that the mandate to reclaim rights under the 1963 Malaysia Agreement remains a consistent and non-seasonal struggle for the Gabungan Party Sarawak coalition. The youth wing expresses absolute confidence that the sovereign rights and special privileges of Sarawak will remain fully protected for the long-term benefit of its citizens. At the same time, the Sarawak United People's Party SUPP Kuching Youth Chief Nicholas Wong Duk Ying also blasted DAPSI for rushing to claim credit for the strategic takeover. Wong stresses that the asset recovery was the long-term result of negotiation, institutional arrangements and the state's own 1.8 billion ringgit financial commitment. The Cebu Rural District Council confirms no pig carcasses were found during an inspection near the Salim water pumping station following public concerns over water contamination. However, the council is not ruling out the possibility that the carcasses may have drifted downstream or been removed before an investigation team arrived at the site. SRDC officials dispatched an immediate compliance team to the scene, confirming the initial search discovered no direct physical evidence. The matter has since been referred to the Department of Veterinary Services for further investigation to verify biological safety standards. The Council emphasizes that its active mandate covers the strict collection and proper disposal of animal remains in accordance with environmental regulations. The probe was triggered after a local resident raised concerns over several pig carcasses allegedly spotted floating near the Salim Stabau area. Local authorities maintain that contingency monitoring continues to ensure public health standards and municipal cleanliness are protected. Malaysia must accelerate the development of its national drone industry to secure internal high-tech economic competitiveness. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says capturing emerging technology sectors like drones is critical to ensuring the nation evolves beyond its traditional industrial sectors. He highlights that drone technology is not only critical for the defence sector but also capable of driving productivity, strengthening search and rescue operations and enhancing disaster management.
Baru, kerana kalau Malaysia mahu menjadi negeri yang lebih berjaya, gagah dari segi ekonomi, dia mesti segera dan cepat dan pantas dan laju meneroka teknologi dan bidang-bidang baru. Drone satu bidang seperti mana, dan dia terkait dengan digital dan AI, dan kita harus bina ekosistem yang sesuai dan wajar.
The Prime Minister notes that the global unmanned aerial vehicle UAV market is projected to exceed $55 billion or roughly 242 billion ringgit by 2030, proving its potential as a main driver of innovation and growth. To capitalize on this trend, the government has directed all related ministries, agencies and research institutions to provide full support to the national UAV industry. Tensions between Iran and the United States have escalated yet again. Despite an existing ceasefire agreement, both sides have exchanged fresh strikes in the Gulf, raising concerns over the security of the crucial Strait of Hormuz. Iran launched retaliatory attacks on U.S. sites in the Gulf after Washington carried out airstrikes on Iranian missile, drone storage and coastal radar facilities. The U.S. Central Command said these strikes were a response to what it described as Iranian aggression against a commercial ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. In a statement, the Iranian Foreign Ministry accused the U.S. of a blatant violation of the peace deal reached between the two sides to end the West Asia War. U.S. President Donald Trump condemned the alleged drone attack, while Vice President J.D. Vance warned that any further violence would be met with force. Iran's Revolutionary Guards confirmed they had targeted U.S. sites in retaliation, warning that any further aggression would trigger an even stronger response. Despite the rising military tensions, shipping through the Strait of Hormuz has continued, although Iran has warned vessels not to transit the waterway without its permission. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continued on another front as Israel, Lebanon and the US signed a framework agreement aimed at reducing tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border. However, Hezbollah rejected the deal, saying it would undermine wider peace talks. At the same time, the UN nuclear watchdog stressed that any final agreement between Washington and Tehran must include strict international verification to ensure Iran does not develop nuclear weapons. The death toll from two powerful earthquakes in Venezuela has now risen to 920, with tens of thousands reported missing as international rescue teams arrive to widen the search for survivors. United Nations Aid Chief Tom Fletcher says more than 50,000 people were missing after the magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 quakes struck within a minute of each other on Wednesday evening. The UN humanitarian agency OCHA says search and rescue teams from at least 17 countries are being mobilized to help find survivors. Currently, the Spanish, Salvadoran, Swiss, Colombian and Mexican rescue teams are already on the ground. At the same time, the US on Friday said it will be sending a disaster response team of more than 250 personnel, including 3 special search and rescue units.
Are assembling, like I said, an 80-person team that also includes 6 canines and all of our sound equipment and technical specialties so that we can go assist as quickly as possible with every search effort that is happening in Venezuela right now, including sound machines that we can detect sound in the rubble. We're bringing sonar, all of our devices that will help us in the continued search and rescue efforts that are ongoing at this time.
As of Saturday, those killed from the tragedy include 28 Portuguese nationals, 5 Spaniards, 2 Brazilians, 7 Chinese nationals, 1 Chilean and 1 Italian Venezuelan. According to the respective governments, 85 Portuguese nationals and 119 Spaniards are still missing or otherwise unaccounted for. The twin earthquakes were the most powerful to hit Venezuela in more than a century, since a 7.7 magnitude tremor struck offshore in 1900. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.